Namaskar. The book that I am going to talk about today spans the story of mere 11 days, and that too within the confines of a passenger boat. And yet, this novel has a reach that envelops the entire world. The human predicament that it unfolds is pertinent even today. This book is Ranangan, a novel written by Vishram Bedekar. Welcome to the 29th episode of Granthayatra. The novel Ranangan, published in the year 1939, is well known as a milestone in Marathi literature. Its writer, Vishwanath Chintamani Bedekar, also known as Vishram Bedekar, made his mark in the fields of cinema, theatre, and literature. He directed well-known films such as Krishnarjun Yuddha, Krantivir Vasudev Balwant, Chool Ani Mool, Ramashastri, and Satyache Prayog, among others. His famous plays include Tilak आणि Agarkar, Narova Kunjarova, and Vaze Paula Apule. His autobiography, Ek Zhaad Don Pakshi, A Tree and Two Birds, has been critically acclaimed as the first autobiography in Marathi written in an objective manner. Ranangan is his only novel. Based on the period leading up to the Second World War, this novel demolished all the established norms of novel writing in Marathi. The events in this novel occur during the 11-day journey of an Italian passenger boat from Geneva to Mumbai. Chakradhar Vidhwans, the protagonist of the novel, is an educated, well-to-do Indian. He is emotionally devastated because of a failed relationship. As a result, he begins to hate women. To hide his emotional vulnerability, he has been living the life of careless indulgence. He spends his days in cities like London and Paris, indulging in all kinds of pleasures while taking care not to get emotionally involved with anyone. Here's a description of his life in London at the beginning of the novel. There's a fountain at the center of Piccadilly. It is adorned with a beautiful statue of Cupid. Every day we would visit the fountain and stand on the steps leading to the water. Such traffic. The intersections would be flooded with people and vehicles, which quickly dispersed, that too with great discipline. A variety of costumes, beautiful faces, the maddening click-clack of high heels and shapely legs, the fragrance of perfumes, oils, and powders filling the air. There would be a surge in this beauty when the sun came out. It's been only a couple of weeks since. This used to be my most favorite scene. That's what I lived every day. The boat that Chakradhar takes to return to India is full of Jews banished from Germany and some Indians returning home from Europe. This is where the drama in the novel begins to unfold on the backdrop of international politics. The Jews on the boat are actually German citizens who had homes, jobs, and businesses in Germany. But as anti-Semitism reaches a climax in Europe, all their possessions are confiscated and they are banished from Germany. They are left to find homes and livelihoods in alien lands. The novel's protagonist says, I was confused. Germany may be right, but then this simple Jew before me, what was his fault? Then why is he being made a victim? What is more important, an individual facing a calamity or a nation's requirements? Not just today, the Jews have been persecuted for centuries. But their troubles today have a particular new meaning. Will this be repeated through the history of other nations? Among the passengers on the boat is Keitel, who is desperately trying to learn English. He faces the grave predicament of finding work in unknown land well after crossing his 50s. It has Harta's old mother, who does not understand even a single word besides German. It has a little innocent boy called Louis, who loves his mother tongue Deutsch, and Louis' helpless mother. And it has Harta, who represents the young generation of Jews in Germany. Chakradhar and Harta's love story blossoms delicately against the backdrop of the international events that led to the Second World War. However, this is not a cliched love story like many others in the contemporary Marathi literature. The physical obstacles in the union of the protagonists, love triangle, culmination of their love into marriage are not important here. nor is their fidelity. Their love has blossomed out of depression. And since they are aware that their ultimate separation is inevitable, their love is all the more intense and desperate. Harta has been devastated by the hatred and insult meted out to her by the very country where she was born and brought up, and for which her father laid down his life fighting. She has lost her job, her home has been burnt down, her belongings have been confiscated, and she has been banished from her homeland along with her mother. The German government is so oppressive that her fiancé, who comes to see her off at the railway station, is afraid to speak to her, and his secret letter to Harta is snatched away from her before she could read it. Having faced these increasingly harsh tortures over the past few months, Harta looks for some solace in her love for Chakradhar. On the other hand, Chakradhar, who has been trying to avoid any kind of emotional involvement, begins to get attracted to her despite himself. Although the love story of Chakradhar and Harta is the main theme of this novel, several other streams join the main narrative and expand the novel's universe. The unstable conditions in Europe, beginning with the First World War and their impacts on the lives of the common people, are revealed through the experiences of the prostitute who meets Chakradhar in Paris. Characters like Abdul Latif point to the worldwide trade of arms and ammunitions and the politics of loss and gain that propels wars. The migrants on the boat are not allowed to disembark at Port Said only because they are Germans. This incident sharply brings into focus the difficulties faced by the refugees who are tortured in Germany because they are Jews and insulted in other countries because of their German origins. Descriptions of the past lives of several characters reveal the conditions preceding the war, the relations between the European nations, the tortures faced by the Jews, thoughts about the consequences of this hatred, and the future of those exiled. This provides a broad backdrop for the novel. Baedeker effectively narrates the tragedy of the simple lives of the common people because of the war. The characters in this novel become symbols of the suppression of humanity by their fellow human beings. The novel reveals the seeds of self-destruction embedded in human tendencies. Speaking about this novel, the well-known author and critic Gangadhar Gadge says, "The novel Ranangan indicates at multiple places that the ammunition of hatred is stuffed to the brim in the minds of the people and is only waiting for a spark. This creates a red, explosive background to the story. The entire atmosphere in this tale is taut and discomforting." Let us hear from Dr. Vimukta Raje, professor at the Joshi Baedeker College in Thane, what she thinks of this novel.
नमस्कार. रणांगण ह्या कादंबरीने मराठी साहित्य विश्वात मानदंड म्हणून स्थान मिळवलं आहे. सामान्य माणसाच्या शोकात्मक कथांचा गोफ विणत असताना मानव संहारक अशा विश्वयुद्धाचा प्रत्यय देणारी ही कादंबरी. रणांगण ही एकच कादंबरी लिहून त्याद्वारे उत्कृष्ट ललितकृती निर्माण करून विश्राम बेडेकर ह्या कादंबरीकाराने लेखन संन्यास घेतला. ही गोष्ट जशी वैशिष्ट्यपूर्ण आहे तशीच कादंबरीचे कथानकही तितकंच वैशिष्ट्यपूर्ण आहे. बोटीवरील 11 दिवसांच्या प्रवासाचं हे कथानक. ही कादंबरी स्थळ, काळ आणि पात्रांनी सीमित असली तरी बेडेकर विश्वाचं एक लघु रूप आपल्यासमोर तयार करतात. जीवन, अस्मिता आणि मानवी संबंधांबद्दलचे व्यापक प्रश्न उभे करतात. चक्रधर आणि हॅर्टा यांच्यात आकस्मिकपणे उमललेल्या आणि अकल्पितपणे मिटलेल्या प्रीतीची कथा हे रणांगणचं कथानक होय. या छोटेखानी कथानकाला अनेक उपकथानकांची, अनेक घटनाप्रसंगांची जोड देत सूक्ष्म मनोज्ञ दर्शनातून विश्राम बेडेकर ही कथा फुलवीत नेतात. कादंबरीचं कथाबीज सांगायचं तर प्रेमभावना माणसाला जागवते, तसेच त्यातील विफलता माणसाला संपवते. असे मूलभूत मानवी जीवन प्रवृत्तीचं कथाबीज यात त्यांनी मांडलं आहे. या कथानकाचं जर वेगळेपण सांगायचं तर ही साचेबद्ध प्रेमकथा नाही. चक्रधर आणि हॅरटा ह्या दोघांचंही हे पहिलं प्रेम नाही तर पुनर्प्रेम आहे. खरं तर रणांगण ही उद्ध्वस्त प्रेमिकांची पुनर्प्रेमकथा आहे. उल्लेखनीय प्रसंग आणि व्यक्ती यांची नाट्यपूर्ण गुंफण हे या कादंबरीचं आणखी एक वैशिष्ट्य. बेडेकरांच्या भाषाशैलीविषयी बोलायचं तर ती मितभाषी आहे. अनुभवाचा अर्क काढून ते त्याला शब्दरूप देतात. कादंबरी वाचत असताना मिनिंग बिटवीन द लाईन्स खूप काही जाणवत राहते, गवसत राहते. रणांगणच्या भाषाशैलीत नाविन्य आलंय ते भावनेच्या उत्कटतेमुळे. संज्ञा प्रवाहात्मक विश्लेषण करण्याइतकी ताकद या भाषाशैलीची आहे. दोन महाघटनांचे एकत्रीकरण ह्या कादंबरीत दिसून येते. पहिली म्हणजे मानवी जीवनात प्रेम ही महाघटना ठरते, तर तशीच मानवी समूहाच्या जीवनात युद्ध ही महाघटना असते. या दोन्ही घटना परस्परांवर मोठ्या परिणाम करणाऱ्या आहेत. त्या एकत्रितपणे गुंफण्याचा प्रयत्न बेडेकरांनी ह्या कादंबरीत केला आहे. उद्ध्वस्त प्रेमामुळे मन ही सुद्धा रणभूमी बनली आहे आणि म्हणूनच रणांगण हे त्याचं नाव अत्यंत सार्थ ठरते. कादंबरीत प्रतीकांचा वापर चपखल तरीही सहज असा केलेला दिसतो. मानवी जीवन हे समुद्राच्या अथांगपणात तुटल्यासारखे होते, तर जमिनीवर ते स्थिरावते. या दृष्टीने विस्थापित अशी हॅरटा आणि स्थापित जीवन जगू पाहणारा चक्रधर ही दोन प्रतीक रूपानंच येतात. बोट हेही यातील एक प्रतीकच आहे. वेगवेगळ्या किनाऱ्यांना जोडणारा तो दुवा आहे. जीवन प्रवासात देहरूपी बोटी स्वैरपणे विहरत असतात. या बोटीत अनेक प्रवाशांच्या भावविश्वाचे स्वैर आत्मचलन जाणवते. म्हणूनच रणांगण ही कादंबरी जागतिक महायुद्धाचे सूचन करणारे मानवी मनाचं प्रतीकच ठरते. जागतिक पातळीवर ज्या तऱ्हेने धुसफूस, तंटे बखेडे, लढाया, महायुद्ध आणि त्यातूनच महाविनाश घडतो, तसेच मानवी मनाच्या ठिकाणी जीवनाच्या संदर्भात असाच संघर्ष सतत चाललेला असतो. याचीच परिणिती म्हणून कादंबरीच्या शेवटी हॅरटाची आत्महत्या येते. मुलखा वेगळा विषयाचा आवाका आणि त्यातील आशय स्फोटकता अत्यंत नजाकतीने मांडणारे विश्राम बेडेकर हे प्रज्ञावंत गारुडीच आहेत आणि म्हणूनच रणांगण एकदा वाचली तरी तिचं गारुड पटकन उतरत नाही. धन्यवाद.
Novel Ranangan has many characteristics that were new. For the first time in Marathi literature, the writer does not glorify the protagonist. Chakradhar's narrative, in fact, is mildly critical of himself. Yet, the author maintains the pure humanity of his mind. In this novel, Bedecker uses the technique of stream of consciousness in a very controlled manner. This means that the narrative does not contain philosophical commentary by the writer. He depicts the thoughts and feelings of the characters in their original form. This enables him to reveal the conscious and subconscious movements in the minds of the characters and the conflict in their minds. He is able to depict the subconscious feelings of the characters in a transparent manner. Bedecker did not use the popular contemporary writing techniques such as a narration that arouses the curiosity of the readers, a complex plot, unsurmountable obstacles and their final resolution with a stunning ending. He changed the order of events, mixed up the time periods, and wrote in a very concise manner. More than the events, this novel highlights psychological analysis. Here, Bedecker creates a world of emotions through several small incidents. Dr. Shinde's affection for little Louis, helplessness of Herta's mother, Mannan's unrequited love for Herta, Madnani's opportunism are all revealed through their conversations. The writer creates the heartwarming character of little Louis, who hates to speak in English, and once it leads to an amusing incident. Dr. Shinde tickled him and said, "Look how he refuses to say even one word of English. Louis, say yes." But Louis knew this drill. Refusing to speak in English was now part of his naughtiness. He refused to say yes. So Shinde pinched his cheek and said, "Wait, you naughty boy, today I will make you speak in English." He then took him to the piano. Seating little Louis on his knees, he opened the piano and began to play. Soon the melodious tunes attracted a few couples and they began to dance. As the tempo increased, Louis began to clap. I picked him up, held him in my arms, and holding his hand in mine, I joined the dancers. The dance was in full swing. Shinde too was excited. The fountains of joy held up in Louis' mind were released and he began to shout with happiness. His voice seemed to echo the height of happiness in everyone's mind. The piano stopped. I put Louis down. He ran to Dr. Shinde and urged him to play the piano. Dr. Shinde asked, "Louis, should I play the piano?" He nodded in delight and said, "Yay!" Dr. Shinde placed a finger on the piano keys and said, "Not yeah," said "yes" in English. He immediately replied, "Yes, yes." Harta's intense character shapes through Chakradhar's narrative, and this makes it a little mysterious and hazy. The same is true of his love. The emotional world emerging from Chakradhar's dilemma of whether his love for Harta is genuine or not. Harta's intense love leading to recollection of his first love. The repeated experience of love's failure. The inevitable grief of separation is at the center of this novel. That makes it very appealing to the readers. It makes them introspect. As the boat approaches the port of Mumbai towards the end of the novel, Harta's mind becomes increasingly uneasy. See this passage. The melody of dissatisfaction began to flow again. We stepped out. The clock was right in front of us. She looked at it and said, "Shall I break it? How fast it runs." I stopped at the staircase and asked, "Where do we go?" She despaired and said, "You tell." I was confused. She insisted, "Bob, decide quickly. We are wasting time. Where should we go?" She finally gave up. "You are bored, aren't you? All right then, go to bed." She said this and turned away. I couldn't understand her behavior at all. I called her, "Harta?" She turned excitedly. "Yes, Bob?" "Nothing. Good night." She was disappointed and replied, "Okay then, good night." But then suddenly her face brightened. She came to me and said, "As I said good night in German, I suddenly remembered. On Switzerland radio, every night at close down, they say good night. Do you know how?" And she said a sentence in German. I laughed. Those German words sounded like mantra recitation. I said, "It is very beautiful, but I did not understand the meaning." "Come, let's go to the deck. I will tell you the meaning there," she said, and quickly climbed the stairs. Then she stopped and said, "Oh dear, how warm it is." I replied, "I'll stand on the deck and you can jump into the water." She laughed. She leaned against my shoulder, her hair brushing my neck and my cheek. She said then, "Bob, I'll say something if you promise not to laugh." I asked, "What, Harta?" "Let's go swimming." "Coming?" Do read this emotional tale that emerges from the horrors of a battlefield. Do tell us what you liked in this novel. Do you find the end convincing? We shall meet next week to read a collection of poetry that shines with its brilliance in the annals of Marathi literature. Until then, keep reading.